Good evening, superstars, security guards, or just Fazbear fans of all sorts. Hi! Thank you for coming to show up here on the very first Mario Workshop of 2023. Hi, I'm Flintworth, your lovable ultra horror nerd, or however you want to really phrase me. And yeah, I'm excited because it's a brand new year, a brand new 12 months of creating content with you all, with going about trying to take our favorite characters of pop culture, yes, mostly horror, and finding some way to bring them into the games we love. If this is your, first time checking out this show, it's player-oriented. We are here to to brainstorm, to think about how we would go and take certain characters, and make them into, a character you can, when I say character, a hero you can play in some of the more popular tabletop RPGs, which of course, one of the biggest ones being DND. And I couldn't think of any better way to start off this whole new year of making stuff with you all than looking at a very important bear. A bear that, to say the least, has spawned much fan art, much accolades, and a whole new world of potential fan art original character creations. I'm of course talking about Glamrock Freddy from Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, which is a mouthful, but yeah. I mean, what can you say about the bear? Like, he's everywhere. Like, check this out. I was just trying to find some picture to kind of have on stream to kind of show him to you all, even though I imagine most people are watching this live right now and later on in the recording, which, by the way, this show typically is going to be going on every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. But just going online to find something to show you all to kind of, like, in case you don't know who Glamrock Freddy is, I found this on Steam. It's a Glamrock Freddy Security Breach, like, puppet, I guess? Like, yeah, for Source Filmmaker. Like, it's crazy the amount of love, like, just fan creations that have come out of this most recent, I guess you say, sequel of the FNAF series, which I know it's the first one that hasn't been done by Scott Cawthorn, the original creator of the whole Five Nights at Freddy's storyline. I believe he still had a hand in, like, writing it, but still, I believe it was put together by Still Will Productions, who took over the reins as far, I think, with the VR one, Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted, which, if you watched any of my stuff prior to this, I used for a lot of B-roll resources, and sometimes it can be a lot of fun, sometimes it can be ultra terrifying, because you tried looking at some of these things in 3D when they're just, like, right there in front of you. The worst was still, to me, by far, Five Nights at Freddy's 4. The one in the bedroom brought back so many repressed memories. And true, they also did Curse of the Dreadbear, which was like the Halloween DLC expansion to Help Wanted. I forgot the name of the subtitle there for a hot second. But when I started this channel, to me, really, a year ago in January, when I started Creature Creator, which is like my main video series, which is geared namely to putting together, I guess how-to guide videos for game masters to help, I don't know, bring their favorite monsters to life in the classic RPG, Dungeons and Dragons, that I wanted to do something that was current. It was, how do you say, it was popular, it was trending, because I wanted to be something that, if I was going to come, make my breakout, I wanted to do something that, people would be interested in seeing. And I've always been a fan of FNAF, marginally, at least, hearing about its development and what have you. But it was a whole new thing, a whole new, world for me to go and look at the franchise, at the games themselves, and actually break them down into a story beat elements. And I would say it was because of that first video I did on the first game, that I've become like a huge fan, to the point that my lovely fiance has been very passionately patient with me and me just gushing about it, because whenever I work on any of these videos or any of these things, I am consistently like going head deep into the lore, into the mechanics, and until I get the script out, until I get the video out, she happens to be my main audience, has to go and like hear me like gush about this stuff. What does that really, matter with Security Breach? Well, at the time I started the first series, the main one, Creature Creator, the Security Breach just came out, and I frankly was kind of like eager to just kind of jump into that one first. I thought it'd be better to start from the first game, because that'd be the most basic, element of the whole story down to a nutshell. Security guard locked in a room, bunch of animatronics coming his way, easy to set up into a story. But I've been looking forward all year long to the time I get a chance to talk about Glamrock Freddy, because unlike the other stuff I've done on the franchise, everything has always been for the DMs, for the GMs, as it were, which is short for Game Master. I've been looking forward to help, giving the players a chance, and you can't get, it was, This was the first game, that you actually get to technically play as an animatronic, a good one that actually works with you, and which made him the perfect candidate not only for a Warrior Workshop to base on Five Nights at Freddy's content, but also as a good way to start, I guess, a yearly tradition. Maybe we're gonna try to do this every January. We're gonna do something on a Five Nights character, something like that. Maybe next year I'll do on a security guard. Maybe later this month. I don't know. But hope it gets across. I've been looking forward to this. Now, let's get to the brass tacks here. What are you going to need for creating a, animatronic character? Now, there's different ways you can go about it. There's like the simple way, there's a homebrew way, and there's the way that's probably require you to kind of buy a few things, but your DM, if you're doing Dungeons and Dragons, should be able to help you out getting things together to go and give you the chance to play as, maybe it's Freddy, maybe it's Roxy, maybe it's, I don't know, the lemonade dispenser that my fiancé so dearly loves from Pizza Simulator. I don't know. Well, let's see here. But let's go, down the line. The simple way. Well, the simple way to try to play any kind of character would be to maybe take a little bit of, how do you say, what's the word? Oh, come to me. Liberties with your character build. Meaning that, let's say you're in a game where you're told you can only go and, make a character using what you can only find in the original player's handbook, which doesn't give you a whole lot of options, especially in the race department. In that case, you can kind of go for a, what kind of flavor, what's flavor you can get to, Freddy. In that case, I would suggest maybe going along the lines maybe of like a human type character, because that's the one that's probably the most neutral in terms of what you can play around with, because there's not really a whole lot of like animalistic race options with the handbook. Then again, you can always go with the tiefling, which is basically a creature they know that has like demonic or devil blood in them, and just form your demonic appearance to look like one of the Fazbear gang. Okay, so that's like, I guess the simple, easy, straight to it route. There's a homebrew route, which is basically go online, type in, give me an animatronic race. And I'm assuming there's someone out there who has done the trick there. And we probably could spend hours going online searching for something that allows you to do just that. However, if you don't mind, doing a little bit of extra research or going, cross book, there's a supplement, a setting that you can look at. It does give you a race option that works perfectly for this. fans, long-term fans who know, I guess, the world lore would know this already. But I'm, of course, talking about a creature type called Warforged. Just making Freddy, but buff and friendly. Yeah, basically. But yes, Warforged. It's a race that comes from the setting Eberron, Rising from the Last War, which is kind of like a fantasy, a science fantasy fiction kind of setting. But it's simply imagine I don't want to say it's maybe at best like a steampunk kind of city where both magic and technology kind of intermix, where you can have adventures with like your pet dinosaur. And if you looked at the cover when I showed it, with automatons, robots, machines that have legs, arms, that can do other things. And that's what Warforged are. They're basically awakened robots that you can play as. And so when I sat down, to me, that's like, oh gosh, it's right there. Boom, set to go. And you probably can go and find information how to get most of this off of Wizards of the Coast's D&D Beyond pretty readily. Hell, you probably can find it on a lot of Wikipedia sites. In fact, I'm kind of curious. Hopefully this won't bring up any sites that I'll regret later on. But if I typed in up here, let's say Warforged, yeah, boom, right there. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. You can, if it actually, comes up in a timely manner. See how easy it is? It's right there. The site's all good to go. That's very refreshing. Let's try this one down here. Warforged. There we go. There you go. There's an example of one of our robot friends. But these guys have been a part of, I guess, the world of 5e, or not 5e, of Dungeons and Dragons since, well, 3rd edition. So they've been around a while. That'd be like the early 90s. So they're not like a new concept. So if you have any, DMs who might argue with you, like, you can't do that. That's just forcing in your pop culture stuff. You can say patooey to you, patooey, I say, because, well, they've been around, folks. They've been around for a while, at least for a few generations. If you, at least, yeah, at least 4 if you count 3.5. 6. No. Yeah, 3. The matters don't really matter. What does is that there's a lot of resources out there you can go and dig out to do what we want to do today. So let's hear. I've noticed maybe a lot more comments than usual in the live chat, which is cool. Keep talking. I like that. I'm gonna need that later. That's right. Freddy isn't buff and friendly? Freddy is. Original Freddy is not friendly. Yeah, that should specify. Today we are not talking about the original Freddy animatronic. That's the one from the first game. Here. Let's see. Freddy. Yeah, that would be the one you see stuffed animals made of all the time. That's this lovely scary block right there. Yeah, we are not talking about that Freddy. We are talking about, let's see, this lovely creation right here. But that does bear a quick conversation on. Now we have, we're talking about this one. No, we're talking about this one, not that one. This one. But let's see here. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm not talking about. Yeah, okay. But yeah, I guess what really makes the difference between the two, which is something you should consider going into this, especially for lore reasons, because they're two vastly different animatronics. Like one is full-on metal inside, while the other has space for at least a small child, if they're the size of a cake, can go and fit into. Which I think we can do the same here. But between the two, I'm not saying you have to, if you're going to go and make a hero based on your favorite animatronic from the franchise, I would never say you have to limit yourself to one or the other. You can certainly, play the character you want to play, and as always, talk to the person running your game. the find out, okay, are they okay with you doing this? Providing you find the rules and you kind of make the thing your own, I can't see them saying no, especially, if it's your first game, because I've had so many players base their first characters on some of their favorite video game heroes. Like, most of them, of course, gone with Link. I've gone with a character from Tales of Symphonia. And I've even seen someone go and make a character based on Wesley from Princess Bride. Like, there's no limit to the sources that you can go with. But the big thing, I think, if you have to go and choose... Yeah, exactly. Dialable, I think I'm saying that right? Yeah, communication is so key in this hobby. As long as you stay communicative and open with your on whatever side of the screen you're on, you can get a lot of stuff done. But the big thing, I think, why, if you had to go between the two for true inspiration, why Glamrock might be your best source is, well, because that bot can be upgraded. But I'm getting ahead of myself, and already 20 minutes in into what usually is an hour-long show. So let's get to the character sheet and get creative. Now, a quick little asterisk note. I make all these character sheets using the lovely website Roll20. I am in no part supported by them. I just am a passionate user of it because I spend quite a few dollars on the site, and I am I want to make most of my investment. But in no way do you have to use Roll20. You can certainly use D&D Beyond. You can use whatever I think it's like VTT you prefer. Hell, you can even go with classic pencil and paper character sheet. So, or even go with a PDF. I've seen people do that too. Bottom line, use the platform that works best for you. Okay. But here on Roll20, I've made quite a few characters in the past for a few of these shows. But let's do this. Let's pick up a fresh one for us today. So, first things first, let's give a quick name to this. Personally, I might go with one of my favorite animatronics, Foxy, as inspiration here. So let's make a fox animatronic. Okay. Well, let's see. I'm gonna go with Boxy the Fox because means fun, and also because I don't want to do Foxy the Fox because that reminds me of the character from South Park, and those little critters are terrifying and a little bit above my content level, even though I can allow this site or channel. Not the Fox, I meant Boxy the Fox. Maybe because he's a boxer. I don't know. It'd be kind of cute. A animatronic fox boxer. Rocky. Let's call him Rocky. Rocky the boxing fox. Rocky Boxy? No. This is getting too punny. Let's go with Rocky the boxing fox. The box fox? Boxy the cardboard cutout. It'd be kind of funny. Playing a Warforged that's just full made of cardboard. Let's go with Rocky the Fox. Which is a little bit, on the nose with being Roxy, but I want to kind of go into this with the mindset there, that this would be my first character, and I was told, hey, I was going to be in a game based on one of my favorite franchises, because that's kind of what I'm hoping some of you might do with this. So, here we go. Rocky the Fox. Alright, give me the character mancer. Now, the nice thing about Roll20, which is why I like to use it also, is that it has this nice little kind of character creator thing, which I know other sites do. I think the D&D Beyond does as well. So, if you're going to do an online game, always look for something like this, because it can be really handy when it comes to what's the word I'm looking for here? Getting you all set up. Also does all the math for you, which is also nice. Anyway, let's take a look at creating this race here. Now, unlike in the past where I've been able to kind of like have everything kind of punched in for me, I'm going to have to kind of like type in a few of these things here. Now, this is where some of the fun stuff can come in, because Warforged, which by the way, lore-wise, yes, are basically robots that were built to be in a war, hence why they were forged for war and able to kind of like hold their own in a fight. They typically are, here we go, bring up the sheet for character creation. They are typically what's called true neutral. They don't really have morality, except when they've kind of learned from their owners or people they've worked with. Now, keep it with a grain of salt. They don't have to follow the lore inside this book. The main thing I would suggest even go with Warforged is that ideally it's been play tested, so you don't have to worry about going through all the trouble of making sure your character is fair and not broken for this game, which even a game with a lot of improv can and will happen. So yeah, don't worry if you look at this and it does not meet anything you might have in mind for your animatronic, because you can easily just, replace words with your own. So let's take a look at this here. Now, let's see. There we are. Now, Warforged, they I'll go and put this custom race in here real quick, because this is, custom and kind of being reflavored. I could put in Warforged, but for the sake of giggles, I'm just gonna type in animatronic, because hell, why not? All right. Now here's the one thing I kind of like about Warforged is that they get, I think, to me, one of the most underutilized stats, because everyone's usually going out for attack or what have you, is that they actually have a high constitution. They actually get a +2 to that when you create one, as well as an additional point in any of the other abilities. Now, a quick rundown of what each of these do is, well, think of it like the classic tomato analogy. Strength is for when to see how far you can throw a tomato. Dexterity is to see how well you can dodge a tomato. Constitution is to see how well you can stand eating a rotten tomato. Intelligence is to know that a tomato is actually a fruit. Wisdom is to know to not really put a tomato into a fruit salad. And charisma is to, sell a tomato-based fruit salad as salsa. Always love that analogy. But here we go. But yes. Make sure here. Yep. They have 2 increase the constitution, as well as 1 more. Now, going into this, I thought it'd be a good idea if I wanted to make a robot, a Warforged. That's true too. Charisma does not have tomatoes thrown at you all on stage. Very true. But big reason why I'm suggesting that if you're going to go and make Glamrock Freddy into your hero for D&D, to go with Paladin, well, is to play at the fact that in the events of security breach, he is kind of the protector to Jeffrey. And Paladins are, traditionally have, your shield, you have some kind of beliefs from the higher thing, and you get some kind of magic, which you can reflavor to be, Freddy's tenacity to be both, almost self-aware, highly intelligent, but also technology. He maybe can hack into other things. Yeah, tomatoes, very key to D&D. Hell, you can even win some bonus points from your DMs if at the start of every game you give them a free tomato. Don't actually try that. I may not like that. Let's see. I keep losing my page. I'm just going to do this. So lose it again. Pardon me. I'm working on a very tiny table. And one of these days I'll have the space, everything out in front of me. And until then, I am stuck with... I don't say stuck. I am making do with my tiny workspace. Anyway. But I also wanted to go with Paladin And the oath is, we're going to find out. We're going to get to that in a bit. But I also like the fact that paladins also usually have a need to have high charisma. Now with Glamrock Freddy also being a musician, you can also tie that a little bit in there too. Also, you can use charisma to scare other creatures, and you playing an animatronic of a possibly, with the possible like soul of some dead child. I mean, I can see how you can swing both ways to be both, charming, like Freddy can be to Jeffrey, as well as, utterly terrifying. So, I'm going to put that extra boost to charisma. Okay, alignment. The book says you should go with, like, true neutral because you're a robot, but we're going to go with neutral good. Borderlining almost chaotic good, with dear Fazbear being basically kind of programmed to help out the kids. And we're kind of going for this from the route. This is like before the purple guy, Burn Trap. Gosh, I say so many different titles. William Afton, before we even got a chance to kind of like corrupt our dear Warforged here. So I think neutral good is, the best way to go. And honestly, it's really just more of a suggestion than actually barely a guideline for a lot of the alignments. Kind of like give you an idea of how you should roleplay. Creature type, Warforged are in fact, I believe, humanoid, I want to say. Double checking. Let's see, creature type. You know what? I was going to put creature type down here as Warforged, because, that makes more sense to me. You're a Warforged animatronic. Imagine trying to explain that in a high fantasy game. That yes, hello, I am Glamrock Rocky. I was built by an entertainer at his restaurant, but when a kobold army came to attack town, I was retrofitted to help defend the kind people. And since then, I've been trying to find other towns to protect. Gosh, what an origin. Warforged. Size, they are medium, so basically that means that these guys are about the size of an average humanoid. And speed, I believe they are, 30. But here's where some of the kind of fun things I want to point out, because, so far, this doesn't really give, I think, much credence to how this really brings out Freddy in D&D, until you realize some of the extra, racial bonuses that come with it. Case in point, they get, amongst many other things, stuff like integrated protection. These guys, their bodies have built-in defensive layers, which can be enhanced with armor. So they get a bonus to their armor class for 1, which is nice, making them kind of harder to hit. 2, when they actually put on armor, they actually can fuse it to themselves, like they're upgrading their forms, much like Freddy would in Security Breach when you go and take pieces from the other animatronics. And 3, while you live, your armor can't be removed from your body against your will, which is awesome. And plus, you also have advantage against a variety of different ailments. Like you can't be poisoned, you don't need to eat, drink, or breathe, you're immune to disease. You don't need to sleep, which makes you almost like a nightmare to some wizards who can't use their status effects against you. It's gonna be, that's nice, that's a lot of fun. That's true, actually, Diebold. Take back what I said. How would be a funny way to start a campaign in a tavern at a fantasy Chuck E. Cheese, welcome to Kobolds and Chicken Nuggets. Please enjoy our nuggets while you watch our lovely entertainers. And up there is your actual character playing a part of the band, and whatever magical or inciting incident, you just kind of jump down full on Well, yes, I am entertainment, but I'm also the security. Take back what I said. Take back what I said. See, that's why I love this show. It's like the fun of creating something fresh live is nice. It's also kind of fun to see your own suggestions pop up, so keep them coming. Let's see here. All right. Let me do this real quick, because I have quite a few things to throw in there. That's a column with extra steps. True. I mean, many, as Reich said here, he said, I think I already said it out loud already, but we'll say it again anyway, because hell with it. Well, that's a golem with extra steps. Yes. But until they decide to make a, maybe they already have, I can be, sticking my foot in my mouth, a golem race. I think Warforged are, to me, the better fit for the Glamrock animatronics. Let's see some other things here. So now I mentioned the constructed resilience. Oh yes, Sentry's Rest. When you take a long rest, you may spend at least 6 hours in an active, motionless state, rather than sleeping. In this state, you appear inert, but it doesn't render you unconscious. You can see and hear as normal. Basically meaning that, as this character, you can be full on, like the bots in the game, just like motionless, staring at a direction, while resting, while also keeping an eye out for your team members. God, can you just imagine the role-playing fun that can come from that? Like you just wake up to Glamrock Rocky the boxer, just staring down the hallway for not moving an inch. You hear us creak as the eyes kind of go shink towards you as he just, the coast is clear, go back to sleep. This almost gives you everything you need to also be kind of creepy to your teammates, kind of really play up that uncanny valley nature of the original bots. I kind of like that. And there's nothing saying, especially with recent book releases, for instance, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything allows you to kind of play around with the different traits and what have you. There's nothing saying you can't go and mix a few of these together with the other races. For instance, I could see a Kenku being a good kind of fill-in to an animatronic because of the fact they have their mimicry they can use as well. So basically I'm saying have fun with it as you go along. Here's one thing you can for later. The last thing I should point out is that you gain 1 skill proficiency and 1 tool proficiency of your choice because of, the original design was meant for something. So even though you're creating a character that's probably meant more so for battle, or hell, you can even make your robot into a wizard with this kind of setup and still have the original kind of performance side of them. Because you say, yes, I was an entertainment bot before, so I had proficiency, with, performance and your instrument of choice. And languages-wise, they just know, I believe, common. Let me double check. I can speak, read, and write common in one other language of your choice. I stand corrected. So I'll have to give them this extra one later. Anyway, this is what we have so far. We have Sentry's Rest, Integrated Protection, and missing Constructed Resilience. So make sure I get that. And I thought I had it in there. Oh, there it is right there. Didn't scroll up high enough. Okay, Moving on. Sorry, I spit out my eggnog because I saw Fishy write, "You are Wizard Freddy." Good callback. Oh my gosh, I'm loving some of these comments here. Let's see. He never. Hey, narratively be cool if you could be a giant stuffed animal, aka fluff golem. Yeah, I could kind of see that too. There's nothing saying you have to be. You can't be fuzzy on the outside, like this giant fuzzy animatronic you see like at Disney World. That'd be kind of cool. I could see. Gosh, sorry, I just get flashbacks to Furbies with that, or Puka if you've seen the the special feature movie on Hulu. I think there's two of them actually. Let's see. Why did Gregory stay in the Pizzaplex? It is unknown whether he came from and how he got into the mall, though he must likely snuck in due to not having parents. Yeah. You know, that's kind of thing too. You could say that you could play up a little bit the Gregory side of things as well. Like at some point when it gets to the oath, I was kind of wanted to toy with maybe saying that your Warforged's oath is to this like child, this godchild, literally like a god that is a kid that you're sworn to protect. And maybe they're not real, or you think, you know, maybe just imprinted on something, but you could really play up that whole I must protect this child that wandered into the tavern. Also be kind of funny too if one of your team members ends up playing like, I don't know, a halfling or a gnome, or even just straight up a kid, and actually doing the protector thing with your Glamrock character to theirs. Like frankly, I just kind of just imagine like a relationship between, let's say, you had a player who wanted to be like Scanlan from Vox Machina from Critical Role, having to be forced to work alongside this innocent, cheery Warforged animatronic, be like, "Oh, Scanlan, you can't go in there. That is for the adults. Let's go back to the ball pit." Granted, because you go over too long, it's similar. They might have to put two and two together. But I just love the comedy of the comedy of errors you could have with this kind of a setup. Anyway, class. Of course, going to go with Paladin, as I mentioned at the title to all this. Proficiencies. Don't forget, we do get a few from our background. We'll check those in a hot second. But I would say you'd have to honestly go with Intimidation for this, because you can really go and have a blast using your scary animatronic side to scare the crud out of your enemies. And this is a tough one because paladins typically have some kind of oath to a god. You know, they're basically, I think, more proactive monks or clerics, if you ask me. Personally, I guess if I could choose one of these, I might be inclined to kind of go with Persuasion, because I can imagine the animatronic would be like programmed to like upsell whatever thing they're trying to get their customers, you know, to buy. Like, I wanted to persuade that barkeep to invest in the in the franchise, set up their own shop here too, which would be kind of a great reason to go adventure. Yes, by all means, take my entertainer, providing you go and in every town set up a new location. That'd be kind of great. Athletics, I can see you're great too. Insight would be perfect as well, because you can play up the whole robot side. The only ones I really couldn't truly see be kind of working for this kind of a setup or background would be like medicine or religion. Because that... Before I get too ahead of myself, I mean, you can certainly go and say maybe you're playing like a medicine robot from whatever restaurant you came from, but in the nature of the show, I feel like out of all of these, I would say either insight or actually persuasion, because look with persuasion, because you can use that more of that charisma, and well, Freddy has to help oftentimes persuade the other bots. Yep, there's totally not a child in my gut. Please don't rip me open and get Gregory from inside. Okay? Okay. Let's see some comments here. Fishy writes in, what if you get the Freddies from FNAF 4 or something? Tiny plushies just running at you like a baby zombie from Minecraft. Yeah, I could see that. I think I designed mini Freddies when I did my FNAF 4 video. Because, yeah, those make like the perfect kind of like filler critters to go after your players. Exactly, Dyball, exactly. It'd be funny if they thought dwarves were bearded children. Oh, I see you went through puberty a lot earlier than other children. That's okay. Do you want me to give you the talk or show you how to use a razor? I've been programmed how to to help show the other employees good hygiene. Oh, God. God. Say what you will about playing, fish out of water. Like, let's say you wanted to be like Starfire from Teen Titans. But it's something else to play a character like Data from Star Trek Next Generation, a character who doesn't understand human relations. You have like all of that lost in translation that you just have fun with. Go figure, find myself now to actually play with this character. One of these days I'll get to play in the game again. But here's the other cool things too. You get like Lay on Hands and Divine Sense. Lay on Hands is basically a healing ability, with Divine Sense basically allowing you to sense, evil entities. Now, you could use this, you could flavor this pretty easily to match our source material here. Like Lay on Hands, you could say that your robot, your body was fitted out with like a basic first aid kind of kit. Divine Sense could be your sensors inside your machine. Like, I know I'm picking with a class that is like very based on belief, but I just want to show that it's possible to go and make it your own to best fit the character. And granted, you could go and choose other classes as well to fit better bots. Like if you want to say be gosh, what's his name? You saw my shirt, I can't remember your name. What is your name? Is it Rocky? Have I been calling him this entire time? Oh, Montgomery. Montgomery Gator, that's what it is. Monty, thank you. Gosh, I was so embarrassed there for a second. But let's say you wanted to be Monty. You could totally go with a Warforged Barbarian, for instance. Chica, I could see off the bat being probably a decent. That's how much you could just like zip zap around the place like no one's business. Be a great like Warforged. I want to say Rogue, because they are crazy at the jump scares. Where Roxanne Wolf could be a fantastic ranger type of character. So there are other options based on the animatronic you want to go with. So don't let me stop you with that. Except if you want to be the goddamn Music Man. Hated that section of the game. Overall, kind of liked Security Breach. But the Music Man portion, God, that could have been fine-tuned a bit more. Anyway, let's see. Equipment. You get chainmail, holy sword, and the cool thing is, you don't really have time for it now, but you can easily take all these elements, and I'm not sure if you can see that on the screen. Let me go to this to give you a better look. I'm referring to. Hang on. Come on. Let me scroll down to it so the fine people at home can see the crud I'm talking about. This right here. That you can easily take any of this stuff, the chainmail, holy symbol, and two of either the shield or any martial weapon, javelin, yada yada yada, and easily flavor it to fit the restaurant theme. So don't be discouraged if you're following along by this point. Come on, let me go and... All right. Moving on. Score method. All right. In the past, I've been doing a lot of standard array, but today I want to go back to my favorite method, which is to roll 4 6-sided die and drop the lowest and add the rest together. And I like to go do this enough to at least get 118, because I'm a DM who likes to see at least one stat really high and one stat really low, like this here. Perfect. Look at that. 9, 12, 12, 15, 16, 18. This sounds fun to me. All right. So, when it comes to paladins, they need 2 big things: strength and charisma. Now, already, because of how we have our character set up, or I should say the race with Warforged, we already have a bonus to Constitution and Charisma. So here's what I would suggest, because Paladins need both to do some mighty decent attacks. Is that if you had a setup like this, I think the highest, honestly, would go with Strength, because Freddy, even before the Monty upgrade of his claws, is still a pretty strong guy, or bot. And yeah, I mean, even after he gets, like, you can break this in as you level up. I mean, he, like, basically kicks down gates for Gregory, which is awesome. Also, even before, I just want to say, yeah, even before he goes and does the upgrade, when you go to the robot maintenance bay, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't they, like, lock him into the seat? If you mess up, he's able to kind of break out and get at you. So, I mean, if he can break the restraints, he can work a good number of things. Yeah. But moving on. I would then probably make the second highest stat be charisma, because if you think about it, that is, like, means you can have a character that you can play off the strengths, literal like a robot strength, as well as have all the fun of, you know, the role play elements that could come from a high charisma. So, but that's for the rest. Well. Honestly, I don't see the bots being that very wise, kind of limited to their, like, programming or basic robotic understanding of their world. So I could see, you know, wisdom being 9 for them. I see them being kind of intelligent, especially of their surroundings. So probably, you know, see that as a 12. Leaving dexterity and constitution. Now, I don't see the bots being... at least Freddy, when you call him, is pretty darn fast. I don't really see them making, you know, crazy jumps or parkouring around the place too hard. So probably gonna be going with, let's say 12 to dexterity and it's 12. It's 15 to constitution. Kind of put the whole fact that, hey, they're metal. Leaving intelligence at 12, giving this nice little spread of 18 strength, dexterity at 12, constitution 17, intelligence 12, wisdom 9, charisma 17. That's not bad. Not bad. Let's go with that. Background. Honestly, there's only one right choice out of all of these, and that's freaking entertainer. Which is kind of great. Even though you do get proficiencies in acrobatics, which is kind of like goes against my point earlier. But I'm sorry, the background has to be other things that are perfect for a Glamrock character, Glamrock Freddy character. Like, for instance, this is where you can finally go and get one of your first instrument proficiencies. Don't forget, we can still get to choose 2 more later on. So let's say his first instrument, if he is Freddy, he's probably going to sing really well. But if you had to pick an instrument up, I would say you probably would pick up, like, a lute. Go with, like, the guitar route. Entertainment routine. He is a singer, honestly. That's what Freddy is. And actually, even wondered, because I do, what kind of songs does Freddy sing? when he has a voice like this, who sounds a bit like Winston from Overwatch. Like, me? I always wonder, like, does he, like, sing baritone? Can he, like, go, like, full-on tenor? I mean, he's a robot. I guess sing any kind of tones. It's a question for another stream. Yes, actually, I put Foxy on my shelf. I do that actually for all my videos because I'm sitting right now in my kitchen, well, dining table, and I try to decorate it at least a little bit before I do some of these things. But that shelves normally contain my fiance's teapot and teacup collection. So, which isn't a very, Five Nights at Freddy like. So I decided for the stream started to kind of stuff at least one plushie in there. But yes, that is my one of my Foxies. I have two. That's my bigger one. And I, of course, had to keep him on camera because if I didn't, he would come after me. So, just a precaution. Anyway, personality traits. It's gonna be weird, especially with the Warforged. Honestly, I'm leaving these blank for now because I want to go and fill these in myself and not roll on these. And hello there, the ultimate Vegeta fan. You're a new one. No, I know I'm late. I thought I'd make it on time. That's fine. That's fine. You're neither late or early. You're right precisely when you mean to. When you meant to. I botched the quote. Bottom line, hey, thanks for showing up. We have only gone maybe halfway through this talk because I keep gushing about stuff. That's fine. That's fine. No, we were just about done with the first pass on the character sheet. I'll go over it briefly in a second so you can get caught up. Did I kidnap Foxy? No, I did not kidnap him. I actually won him at a Universal Studios Halloween Horror Night way back when I used to work at the Jurassic Park ride in Hollywood. I think he was like, I want to say one of those like strength tests. They had, I think I must have hit the bell because I won that guy. But it was crazy because they had the game like right down the street from where they filmed Back to the Future, which was wild. So yeah, I guess he's from Hollywood. He came from out of time while I was waiting in line for the Freddy versus Jason house. Gosh, that was back in 2017, 16. God, can't believe it's already been close to 10 years already. Hey, time flies. Anyway, you never see FNAF plushies anymore? Then you need to go to Target because I see them there for sale all the time. Granted, they're not like these, like more like multicolored ones. You occasionally see them, I want to say, at Hot Topic as well. Ah, yes, the before times. Yes, before 2020. Whether you really felt on the whole events of that year, you can't deny it did definitely change a lot of things. But let's talk weapons here. That's where we're on right now. Let's see here. So we get our choice of any shield or material weapons. Now, honestly, I would take these with the pretense I'd be going with something that I would clearly go and reflavor or retheme to match Glamrock Freddy. Like, for instance, I really think you should go with like either a maul or even the trident. Let's go with the maul though and say, yes, hey DM, I'm gonna go with maul, but it'd be cool if it had look like, a microphone stand. See what I'm saying? Same with the other weapon you can kind of go with. There's you pick your choice of what kind of like crazy thing you want to see your Glamrock Freddy swing around. Like a pike could work that as well. I frankly am prone to going with maybe the battle axe, especially if you say he has that his battle axe is actually his guitar, so he's not like chopping off heads. He's just playing it out at the local tavern. Also, you have the various puns of like, you know, get my axe. Little rocker humor there. All right. Between the two packs, I honestly would suggest Explorer's Pack. You can't ever go wrong with that, honestly. And especially with how this character is already kind of a few degrees away from your classical kind of Paladin priest. Doesn't really seem to make much sense to me. Musical instruments. Yeah, you get one of these for free. Once again, I'd probably go with the loot. And you get like one extra little side trinket, a love letter, a lock of hair, or a trinket. Oh, there are so many things that could come from story-wise if your animatronic was walking around with a lock of hair. Like, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that, Rocky? Why do you have a piece of hair? Why is it in your mouth? Why is it stuck between your teeth, Freddy? Or Rocky, or whatever your name is. Personally, I am inclined to suggest that if you're going to do with any of these, go with like the trinket. Go with the trinket and make it be... Pick your favorite merchandise from Chuck E. Cheese or the FNAF series. Like... Honestly, it'd be kind of great if you had your trinket actually be the plush version of you. Like... Hello there, have you met little Freddy? He looks like me, but he's tiny and soft. Yeah, that's what I would do. The sticky hand toys. Like the ones you could get like from like the quarter slot machine. That'd be kind of fun trinket too. Why yes, I'm a paladin of the highest order. Oath of the Pizza. And here, I was given this on my day when I joined the order. And you watch as your Warforged buddy goes into his pouch and brings out this long strand that doesn't come right away before it just kind of like snaps out as his little hand just goes flinging across the way and gets slapped on the wizard's forehead as he pulls out this, you know, basic sticky glittery hand. Love it. Yeah, there's so many like pizza inspired things you could have be their trinket. Okay, for now the spells are mystery to us, which means we are ready to have this character sheet cooked up. Oh, nope, never mind. We have to have the fun of naming this thing. Or giving the other stuff. Now, after all this time, I decided to rename our bot Gregory in honor of... If I can spell Gregory. There we go. Ha! Proof I went to college. I can spell a child's name. But okay. The thing I love about Warforged is that they can be as old as 30 or as young as 2. So I say for the sake of our source material, let's say that they're 5. For 5... Height, I think Glamrock Freddy. How tall is he? Does it say how tall he is? It'd be kind of convenient. I don't think so. All right. I see. Sure, let's go with that, little Layla. Tall. Tall like 6. Tall, like 6 feet. I like that. I don't want to say 7 feet, though. I mean, from a child, he's probably huge. But yeah, 7 feet is close to like Master Chief height, and I can't imagine, even if he is, you know, performing to a large pizzaplex mall kind of entertainment venue, that they would want to have this towering robot walk up to the kids and just like, "Hello, little Billy. What do you want for your birthday?" I mean, that'd be scare the crap out of them. More so than they usually do. Weight, heavy. I mean, they are a bot. Eyes, artificial. Whatever they decide. I can't spell artificial. Gosh. Thank you, spell check. Hair. Fake. Hopefully. Skin. Fuzzy? I suppose if they're like a fuzzy animatronic. But though Glamrock Freddy is more like hard metal. Can you use Star Wars characters like Vader as an enemy or Luke as a fighter? Chewbacca as a barb. Oh yeah! Yeah, you mean skin, blue. Yep, I like that. Let's go skin, blue. Blue bot. Yes, you can totally go and make Star Wars characters. I guess I've actually seen that happen in some ways. Like, I mean, that's very easy to do and probably worth taking a look at some point. Because, you know, I guess Star Wars is popular, maybe. I don't know. I mean, they've only had like 10 movies and quite a many TV shows. Like, maybe. They're not big at all. I mean, Disney owns them. What's this about Star Wars? Plastic. He's definitely plastic. Yeah. I hesitate with plastic only for the fact that, I mean, you can tell by means, you know, make your animatronic plastic. I only said plastic or even like fiberglass because I want to keep at least a little bit of the fantasy element with him. Plasteel. That's funny. A very funny Dibble. But yeah, don't let me stop you from being the plastic animatronic that you want to be. And hopefully this actually gets made, because right now I'm seeing this little red line of death. You have to restart it. Let's find out. I'm gonna have to go and hide some of these. There we go. Oh, we made it. Cool. All right, class. Let's do my favorite part. One of my favorite parts of the night, because I do this twice at least. Let's play the game of let's see how they roll. Okay, let's just go for a typical attack with their battle axe guitar. 8, 12, and okay. Let's say they just managed to hit. I'm not sure if you can see that. Let me bring that up a little bit more. There we go. And boop, 6 slashing. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad for a little baby paladin. But there's a few things we need to fill out here. For instance, we do have get an extra skill. So we already have performance. I know about that. I'd see it didn't add in bonuses to persuasion or intimidation. No, it was. I think it was persuasion and insight. I want to say. Regardless, but as for the other ones, honestly, I think insight should be one of them. Only for the fact that, I mean, the robots can or have the ability to scan things. And they do get one more tool proficiency, so let's put this as charisma. Can I please type it in? Oh, there we go. It's another instrument that Freddy might play. He can do that one like chiming bell, so I can always say like xylophone. True, be good cooking. It'd be kind of fun. So yeah, cooking utensils. I like that. It's a good idea. I mean, he does come from a restaurant. It's kind of great if he actually just like is like part oven and just pulls out of a pizza out of his gut every once in a while. Fast watch, I can see that too. Yeah. That's true. I promised I would explain this a little bit. Okay. So starting from the top. Let's see. Oh, I don't want that. Hang on just a moment. Roll 20 is giving me troubles. Go figure. So let me start the page. I've had so much eggnog, you guys, in this last week or so alone. It's my mom, who knows I love eggnog, I made this big old thing just for me, and God, I'm gonna have my eyeballs floating in eggnog at this rate. Anyway, here we go. That's what I wanted. Let's take a look at this to help refresh our memory. So, our bot here, Glamrock Gregory, is a Warforged animatronic. Warforged are basically, well, robots or metal golems that were designed and built for war, that for name the actual magical cause became sentient. And with this being a base, this character based for like a fantasy setting, is why I thought it'd be perfect for DND. That's the word I was looking for there. Meaning that they give a few proficiencies or abilities, we'll say, skills, because of this background. One of the biggest ones is that they're immune to a variety of different like statuses, or I should say effects like poison, can be put to sleep, and they don't need to eat, drink, or breathe, so you can push them in the water and be fine. They have the ability to actually essentially fuse, or I use the phrase upgrade, their armor with other pieces of armor. They also have the ability to basically be like a sentry at night for your team, with the knowledge that when they power down, they are totally conscious, but like the bots at night in the game, could be like at the end of a hallway, right outside where the rest of the party is sleeping, just stare down the hallway, staring, eyes open, full-on grin, intimidating anyone who comes their way, making them like the ultimate sentries. Furthermore, they also have a specialized design trait, which basically means when you create them, you can pick any skill plus any item, which is what we just did, to add to it basically for free. And to top it all off, the creme de la creme is that they have high constitution, which gives them a high armor class. Like you see here, they have a 16, which at level 1 is insane. But they also get a bonus to armor class. This actually technically should be 17, which at level 1 is pretty damn nuts, and that can actually go up. But the bigger thing I wanted to bring up is that these guys, let's go over here. 1 second. Come to me. Oh, so they have a high constitution, but you also get the ability to add the extra one to whatever thing you want. So for us looking to create something that has a lot of high charisma, because they are, yes, a performer, this race is perfect for this build as well. And all this came from the D&D setting, Eberron, Rising from the Last War, which is basically this kind of sci-fi fantasy setup, almost like a steampunk fantasy city with dinosaurs and robots and airships. It's fun. I'm actually going to be running a campaign in this really, really soon. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. Personality traits and ideals, bonds, flaws. This is really, up to you how you want to kind of like build up your character to be. Personality traits, you can say, friendly to kids, loves to perform and cook. Glamrock Freddy is a nice, supportive robot dad at times, or maybe big brother, depending on how you look at him. And a good employee to the Fazbear Pizzaplex. Ideals, I mean, I've joked plenty of what this could be throughout most of the show tonight. We've mentioned things like how they could be performing. I mean, their ideals could be like, to set up more shops, to help out kids, to feed the hungry. I mean, there's so many things you could put here. Bonds could be that, maybe they've bonded to one of the other characters to help protect them, like Freddy did with Gregory. Or maybe they could be, something more mysterious. Like, this is where your imagination can really soar. So I would say for this part, go nuts with this. And flaws, well, you take your pick. Flaws, you can have a lot of fun. This is where you can kind of like tie in things like maybe your robot is maybe secretly kind of evil. Maybe they are being controlled by the big bad. There's a lot of things you could put in flaws. Maybe that their programming's faulty and they're prone to outbursts when they don't get their sleep, or when they're upgrading their stuff, like Freddy was in Security Breach. You know what I mean? There's with a few moments of time, you could really make this your own. So I want to leave that kind of empty for now. Also, because I've already gone 16 minutes over what this show normally goes, so let's hop to it. Now, here on Warrior Workshop, I always like to go and build characters to level 5. Why? Because to me, most characters, most setups don't really go into their own to really become what you want them to be until level 5. So let's do that now, real quick. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boop. Oh, that makes level 6. Down one more. There we go. All right. Oath time. Oath. Now, I know I was kind of poked a little bit at what kind of possible oath could a robot go for as a paladin. Because, are you guys talking about Among Us over there? Have you ever heard of Among Us, Gregory? Venting is sus. Very sus. I have not played Among Us in forever. I might have to do something. I might have to change that soon. I've heard they got some fun updates. Hell, it was even in Glass Onion. Right. Well, I'm kind of curious. Yeah, honestly, I was wondering if anyone would go for that, the Oath of Redemption. Because that would be a quite interesting flaw that you kind of combine the Freddys. You have the Freddy of the classic FNAF, the one who's actually killed kids and maybe even adults, becoming the Glamrock hero we know in the most recent title, making up for his past. I kind of like that a lot. I do love Oath of Glory because there's so much stuff you can use to buff your other teammates with. Which is what I was initially going to go with, but I'm kind of like curious about Redemption. Because here, at least for the sake of the show, let me kind of go over the two, because I think it could go either way, honestly. Because I had a player who went with Oath of Glory a while ago with one of their paladins. Sorry, they want the exact wording. So here, let me go show you a few things here. So, Oath of Glory, basically, these are the paladins that believe they and their companions, are out to do good, or out to be the heroes you want them to be. Very much the kind of Glamrock Freddy side of things. Like, hey, we're all superstars. That kind of mentality. Which can maybe be a little bit heavy-handed. I don't really think Glamrock Freddy's really out to be a hero, but the bigger thing is like the side stuff. Like the features. For instance, they have things like Inspiring Smite, where when they smite, immediately after you deal damage to a creature, you can use your Channel Divinity as a bonus action to basically rev up your teammates with your attack, which is cool as all hell. You also have the Peerless Athlete, which you really play up to be that your bot kind of like digging deep to, well, you name it, kind of go and use your robot strength to go and save a little kid, like, or to be the superstar they need. Like, frankly, I even talked to my DM to say my Channel Divinity is just me going to superstar mode or overclocking my hard drive, that kind of stuff. But as I'm gonna call you UVF for the Ultimate Vegeta fan, that redemption can be pretty good too if you want to go and say that your Freddy was the route of, well, as we mentioned, if you were kind of like the old school Freddy trying to make up for his past. I think for the sake of tonight, let's go with Oath of Glory and save Oath of Redemption for if we want to go and maybe truly make a Warrior Workshop on classic Freddy Fazbear. Because that'd be kind of fun. Kind of like that. It's a great idea there, Ultimate. Yeah, I mean, you could go that route. Diebol is saying they're surprised Glamrock Freddy doesn't have some Glam Bard's levels. I agree, but if you look over the course of most of the game, in fact, not the entirety of the game, he spends most, if not all of his time, protecting Gregory, and only the opener actually performing. I mean, okay, if you get the Chica upgrade, he does, have that, like, bird screech, but I guess that's where I kind of went with, like, the Paladin. Probably harder than I should. But like I said, the show is getting long, and I want to so keep it simple for now. But yeah, I would say if you want to spice it up a little bit, by all means, take a few levels in Bard. I would suggest probably doing like 3 in Paladin and 2 in Bard, because that way you at least get some of the first starting stuff for Paladin. But with that, you do get Divine Smite, you get Divine Style. Honestly, I'd probably go with Protection over everything else, because that like, kind of plays up the protector side of things that we're going to go for here. You're actually into impose advantage on that attack roll. You must be willing to shield, which is actually kind of great. When a creature you can see attacks target other than you within 5 feet of you, you can kind of do like jump out in front of them. But this also means with this kind of build, and you have to even use that, you have to carry around a shield. It means your animatronic's AC is going from a 17 to an 18. Nope, was it 17 to begin with? Yeah, either way, it's getting more nuts. You're getting to the point you're basically forcing your DM to go and make all the DC saves. Oh my gosh, I just realized something. I'm gonna have to show you these guys in a second one. I just realized. But onto the spells. Honestly, this is more so, I think, something you would need to review in your own time, or find a video or show that's probably more apt to explain the kind of finer details of the casting system in D&D, because it's complicated, to say the least. Just know that with Paladins, you can prepare your list of spells based on a list that's given to you. It's not like Wizard where you kind of write them in and you're kind of done. I believe with Paladins, whenever you take a rest, you can go and like pick and choose a little bit. I think. Yep, exactly. That's exactly what it says here. So you might get a whole bunch of spells, but you do have, I think, frankly, an easier time specializing your kit each day. You also get Divine Health, which I think just goes on top of the Warforged like list of immunities. So not only can you get poisoned, you can't get made sick, to the point that's like, status conditions? Where are those with this? Harness divine power. Honestly, it's where I think when it comes to your actual oath, is where I would talk to your DM a little bit to flavor them to kind of be like, yeah, your oath is to your restaurant, your the business, the company. Which is why this thought would be kind of funny to do. Like, yes, my tenets of glory is you pull out the employee's handbook. Employees of the oath of must shine in our audience's eyes. Employees must strive to be known by glorious deeds, not words, and always be smiling. Challenges are but tests. Face hardships with courage. Dig deep, that sort of thing. Like, that's why I like the idea of glory being like, rah rah for what's best for the pizzaplex. And the spells are kind of fun too. I can see that being a bit really into what works best for Glamrock. Like, you have things like Guiding Bolt and Heroism, which can help you boost your friends. Enhance ability, magic weapon. You basically can use your robotic powers, your pizza pride to go, hell, to supercharge your weapons. Which, being a robot holding a metal weapon, be kind of baller. Let's see. I pretty much inspiring smite and all that. Yeah. I mean, at some point, I do plan to do a creature creator on the security breach game itself. And yeah, I'll probably have to go and look at figuring out how one would run a game with things like Vanny, Vanessa, the Blob, even Music Man. Hate that jerk. I mean, God. Nope, not the time to rant about that. Alright, increase 2 of your abilities by 1. I honestly would go with Constitution, because if you're going to go to protect your allies, you want to make this character as tanky as you can take them. And probably Charisma. Make them more of a true performer. Yeah. You're right. Which is great, because you think about it, this means now that when you get a shield, your Constitution technically will be 19. That's amazing. Maybe Dieball, maybe Music Man is the big bad evil guy. Stupid, like, jerk. His whole stage doesn't really have him in there at all. You're mostly avoiding the other bots. Spells. Alright, honestly, Bless, if you're gonna make any kind of Paladin, even if you're not gonna be doing a Glamrock build, Bless should always be on there in my opinion. Let's see. Cure Runes is gonna be great for we need to go for here. Just to kind of be buff and protect your other friends. Because that's that kind of idea as I see for a lot of this. Is that this build is that, like Glamrock was to Gregory, you're there to protect your friends. And the more you get into that, the more it will help you in the long run to be, because that's the thing about D&D, it's a teamwork game, and that's really this feature is you're a tank protector. You are a paladin through and through. So things like Shield of Faith can be handy for this as well. Heroism. Heroism could be a great way to kind of play up that performer side of Freddy. Like I know Dieball mentioned earlier, I didn't put anything in the bar, but that's your place to put it, where you cast heroism by maybe singing them a song or cheering them on from the side, where you can kind of bring in that performer element into this build. Also, it means you help boost your friends to keeping them from being frightened and they gain temporary hit points. I mean, what's not to love there? Naturally, you can go and pick your various, smites you might like. You don't have a whole lot with Paladin. You only get 6 spells. So, honestly, Honestly, you could go with Fine Steed. And if you have a DM who's game, you'd be like, yes, okay, hey, can my steed, be like an animatronic horse? Or maybe can my steed be a little music man I ride into battle on? If I was a DM, I'd probably be like, sure, why not? I'll hate you for it, but by all means, be your Glamrock Freddy riding into combat on top of a giant, obnoxious music spider DJ thing. Oh. And honestly, there's some, and let's see, I need 2 more. Like I said, pick your favorite kind of smite, because what a paladin is without smite, and the fact that you can kind of like really play the performance of as you bring down the hammer with your axe. I think for the sake of time, I'm gonna go with like some thunderous smite, and frankly, Zone of Truth would be kind of hilarious with Glamrock Freddy. Can you just imagine being this big old bear robot and playing up the Zone of Truth as you basically kind of scolding your opponents like, now, no, Strahd von Zarevich, it's not very superstar of you to lie to us now, right? Yeah. All right. So technically, this should actually be still higher. 17. Okay, maybe it wasn't as high as I thought it would be. Even so, 17 is still pretty damn freaking great for a paladin. Basically, I want to point out that if you consider all the various status effects that you're now immune to, you're almost like Maple from I Didn't Want to Get Hurt, so I put all my stats into defense or into vitality. Bofuri, the anime. That, let's see here. You have resistance from, I'm going to count this out now, poison damage, disease. You can be put to sleep. Let's see. Well, you can be, you're double the disease fence. Okay, maybe not as exciting as I thought it would be, but still. Because here's the thing, when it comes to characters with high AC, the typical strategy that most DMs are encouraged to do is to muck with dice challenges, give them status effects, kind of weaken them that way. And the thing is with this kind of character, that sure, yeah, you might fail a few of those, especially if they're wisdom. However, because you have like spells like guidance and bless in there, you can easily go and buff up yourself to have it be almost like not even a problem whatsoever. And with the fact that you have like 54 hit points and you are dishing out blows that are inspiring your friends, you are nothing but like the perfect combat support tank. You might be killing many things, but you are making your friends look good and encourage them to just get out there and be awesome rock stars. So I can see this build being a lot of fun in that way. And let's see how it rolls at the very end. So let's say to bring out the axe one more time. Let me show you this here. And man, this guy's having like the worst luck when it comes to rolls. Look at that. His second roll ever for an attack. Nat 1! Let's see the damage though. 12. Not bad. Not bad. Okay. But if you also did a Divine Smite on there. Okay. Dealing overall like 17 like damage for the first attack. And this is, I'm assuming they get, extra attack. So the first attack alone, this would mean that after you deal damage, with your Divine Smite feature, you can use Channel Divinity as a bonus And okay, yeah. So after this one divine smite, I would be able to then go and divvy out 2d8 plus 5 extra hit points to my pals around me. So let's see that real quick. Let's go do 2 of these. Cool, 11. 16 points of temporary of hit points. Do you realize how much of a game changer that can be? Like a squishy wizard. Like, hey, guess what? You know you're barely on death's door, maybe with like 5 health. Where's an extra 16 for the fight? Ooh, that could like make and break a lot of DM's plans, and that's just with the first attack. Oh, love it! It's juicy. Why do I hate Music Man? I don't hate Music Man. I hate the level, the part of the Music Man encounter, because the idea is that you're trying to rush around to essentially turn off the lights and music to get him to go away, and you spend more time avoiding all the various animatronics than you actually do him, who's crawling around the walls, which looks frankly kind of awesome. And I also probably didn't help. I went to that encounter when I first played Security Breach. I didn't have like all the buff items that made me, faster to run away from some of the other things. And I think I spent maybe, like almost like 4 hours of that segment doing it over and over again with like the basic walk speed, trying to dodge way more animatronics than I would have liked. It was just not fun. Not fun. Hoping that the second player through it would be a lot better. Speaking of which, we're to the point, unless you all have any questions, which I think one's here, a FNAF themed Dominion of Dread between Strahd. That'd be kind of fun. Make up my own domain of dread. For those who don't know the lore, in D&D, Strahd, who is basically fantasy Dracula, for Wizards of the Coasts, lives in a pocket dimension in like the negative version of the world called a domain of dread. It's kind of like its own little world meant to kind of torture him and frankly anyone else who gets captured in there. But the thing is, there is other dominions of dread where other typically monsters inspired by your classic Universal films are kept or players have to kind of go in and try to get out without succumbing to the curse of the land. And there's actually a book that just came out with that, Von Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. But so basically what Diebold today are suggesting is to put together a dominion for Freddy and company, which could be kind of fun. I can see that being for William Afton. But I digress. We have come to, I think, to the end here. So I'm going to make a few little final announcements before I let you all go. That, of course, being number one. Hey, thank you for watching this long into it. This was a lot more fun than I expected. I expected this to be only an hour. It's now been an hour and 38 minutes. I have not had supper yet. I am starving, so I'm going to be having food right after this. But despite that, despite my stomach being empty, you've all filled my hearts with your company and interest and just conversations with talking about this. This was a lot of fun. We have a lot going on the channel this month. I had the Thing video, as in the video Creature Creator on the movie The Thing. We working on that the next 2 weeks. I'm hoping to have that out, I want to say, by the 21st? The 22nd, I think. Oh, 23rd. Monday to be like the, I want to say the 4th week of January, the 23rd. But try to get it out then. Later this month, from the 27th, 28th, and 29th, I'll be running a marathon, a charity marathon for Extra Life that I'm calling the Game Master Gauntlet. I'm going to have my announcement video hopefully out, I want to say, next Monday. To have more details on that. Basically, the short end of it is that I am going to be attempting to DM multiple games across different game systems all over one weekend while raising funds for a good cause. And next week, we'll probably actually have my first just general Hangout gaming stream. I haven't decided what the game I'm going to be looking at just yet. It might be in Hollow Knight because I really want to do a Warrior Workshop on the guy, but I want to go and play the game first. So I might do that next week, maybe. Don't quote me on that. But otherwise, yeah. If you haven't already, and if you watched this far to the end, consider liking, subscribing, or even sharing this video or any of the other things I have put on. All of it really helps me out in so many ways. Let me know if you have any suggestions on other Warrior Workshops I can put together. And if you don't, no worries. I still think you're all beautiful either way. And I hope you have the most fantastic of nights. To those I'm going to say, to those who have hung out this far, to the very end, Fishy, Diebol, true D&D nerd. I'm assuming that you were also the biggest Vegeta fan. Layla Rose, if you're still there. Reg, if you're still around. And anyone else I've missed, thank you so much for hanging out. Hope you have a great night, great weekend, and yeah, I'll see you next time.